Hello, I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Well, following the May 2011 tornado in Joplin, there were a lot of losses, and for many people, photos were some of the key items they missed afterwards. Shortly thereafterwards, an organization, people in the community started volunteering and working together and developed into the Lost Photos of Joplin project. Well, today we're not only going to update that project, but talk about ongoing efforts to kind of come full circle with what's happening with people and preserving those memories. Joining me, Beeler and Rachel Deyo from the National Disaster Photo Rescue Group. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
I know, Thad, I think we talked back a couple of years ago when you were right in the middle of the program of trying to find pictures and get things back to people. Let's start off with a little bit of background. Somebody who's come since then or that I don't remember quite, some background when we say the National Disaster Photo Rescue.
Well, it came from a very humble beginning because it started with a Facebook page, and what it blossomed into was our effort to be able to help the citizens of Joplin after the tornado to be able to reunify people back with their photographs and documents that they had lost. And so it turned into the Lost Photos of Joplin project under the National Disaster Photo Rescue, which is a ministry of First Baptist Church in Carthage. And we've been able to help over 700 people, families. And we collected over almost 40,000 photographs from the tornado itself and have returned almost 18,000 of those photographs to date. They reside today with the Joplin Museum Complex, so that's where they're housed, but we still are involved in getting them back to people and trying to reunite families with their memories and things that are so important to them.
So the process really never ends. You have people who may still, a couple of years later, be saying, I wish I still had those photos.
They do, and what we've learned from our circumstances here is that people needed to take care of shelter, they needed to take care of food and all those things, and then at some point they realized that, I'd lost so many personal objects like my photos, and that's when people say, where are they? And when we're around, and we're going to be there for a long time, to be able to help people here in the community, we want to get them back, as many as we possibly can, but we also know that they're going to be taken care of for the future.
So the Joplin Museum Complex is housing or holding that collection that you have.
Yes.
What is the process that people go through to try to be reunited with their pictures, and what are some of the steps that people need to do?
Well, we've got a great website. If they go to nationaldisasterphotorescue.org, they will find on there the Lost Photos of Joplin, and they can click right on the link, and it takes you to all the pictures that are available. And when you go on there, you'll be able to see collections of photos that we've done as they were scanned. And then they could look for their photograph of different kinds and then click on it and to claim it. It's very easy to do, not too difficult.
So we can see on the website, which we're seeing a sample on the screen, just
yes,
matter of clicks, and then you have
that's right.
organized by boxes.
It's organized by boxes so that they can go through box 1 today, and maybe they want to go through in another few days box 2, and then they scan through there and say, oh, that's my photograph. And then you can click on that photograph, and you'll be able to claim and fill out a claim form. It goes directly to us. It's emailed to us, and then we get in contact with you and let you know that we have your picture, and then you can come and pick it up, or we can arrange to visit with you.
And that task in itself, just the organization, not only the collection, I mean, you had people from all over the region bringing you pictures, but how do you organize them afterwards?
Well, organizing them was quite a task, and it took several of us to think how were we going to do this, because we needed to be able to find them once we documented them, but realized that almost 40,000 photographs had been scanned, so they were digitally scanned. You see many of them today. But they were all numbered and had an individual number and an identification tag, and they were all put in envelopes and then boxed up. And we have a picture of that where it shows exactly what our boxes look like and how they're done. And once someone calls in and they say, this photo is mine, it has a number right down at the bottom of it.
So when they look at your website, they can see.
When they see that, that's the boxes.
That's
the boxes that we have them in. They're all identified. You can see the envelopes in there with the little white labels. On the outside is a white label that has that number, and we go right to the number that they've claimed, pull that out. We check the number on the back of the photograph because we have it numbered there as well, and it's a double, triple check system. So we've had great success, and so many people all over the United States have looked at us and said, I don't know how you did that, but we'd sure like to know how we could help.
When it comes to organizing and getting things, that's a Herculean task and so forth. Well, the people side of the story, Rachel, I imagine that, people getting those memories back through pictures really must be an impact. We had a photograph there of a couple receiving pictures, just like you say, they lost something, now they're getting them back.
Absolutely. I believe this is the first family that were able to get have pictures returned, and there are so many stories like that, and I've been able to be in a little bit of every aspect of this process, and I think that's one of my favorite parts, is just sitting down with people and helping them find photos, and some of them they completely have forgotten about. They're just looking to find something familiar, and then when they see something, they get a little piece of their life back that they didn't think they would.
Right. So they get the actual photograph, as you can see here, then they also have the digital memory that you've saved through the scanning of that picture as well, and tying that together. Of course, Joplin was not the only area hit by tornadoes. We've had major tornadoes, Moore, Oklahoma, at Baxter Springs. Did you find your program growing and developing as other places experience these types of disasters?
We were so concentrated at the time, obviously, helping our own community. We didn't realize that there were so many other communities looking at us. And unfortunately, Joplin had a name because of the size of the tornado, but we also realized that other people were looking to see how they could recover after a disaster just like ours. And Moore, Oklahoma was a good example of that. We were down there on several occasions helping them through that and walking them through the process. We've been, of course, over at Baxter Springs and Pitcher, helping the folks over there with that. We have visited with folks in Illinois and in Arkansas, in Texas, so many different places, and then folks from all over the country who have been involved in disaster recovery of different kinds to be a part of the process with them.
So really spreading what we've done successfully in the Joplin region to other parts
to
of the
other
country.
parts,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it has definitely caught on in so many different places.
Great. So we've gone through the process, and continuing today, if someone, as you say, still wants to go back and see, they could scan through that website, and you have a Facebook site as well that they can tie to?
Yes, yes we do, and it's just National Disaster Photo Rescue, and you'll be able to find that Facebook page. Please go on there, like us, that'd be a great thing, and you can follow us there. We have updates and post some things on there. If there's something that you'd like to find out about, or you'd like more information, or how to become involved, that's a great place to come and to volunteer. We'd love for that.
You mentioned volunteers. Now, I imagine when this project was underway full steam, when you had all those pictures coming in, volunteers really made it happen for you.
Volunteers did make it happen, and if it wasn't for, we have a great community here, and I think that's what the nation looked at and said, I can't believe how well these families, this group of communities went together and to help each other, and that's what is so remarkable. We had people from all over the area wanting to help, and they'd come in and say, what can we do to help you? We have photographs too. We know how important they are to us. Can we help somebody else? And then we put them to work, whether they be cleaning or maybe at the time they were recovering them off the ground, but they may be scanning. And in some cases we had a lot of volunteers helping with reunification, which is giving them back.
And do you have a lot of people at the beginning just wondering, I have this picture that's been damaged, what can I do with it to save it?
Absolutely, and you know, SMB was a very supportive, integral part. They were actually collection sites for photos, and they would put the photos in envelopes. But we would also advise people, you know, when they found photos, to lay them out to dry, and then put them in an envelope, get them to one of our sites, and it would be brought to the church for cleaning. And you know, you mentioned volunteers. A lot of times when there is a natural disaster, the people on the outside are just wondering, what can we do? How can we help? And as we've noticed, you know, in recent times, sometimes the overwhelming response is overwhelming.
Too many people, you really don't need them right then.
Right, or well, not necessarily for us, but you know, supplies are coming in, and so they're like, well, we don't really need to help with that aspect. What is something we can do? We want to do something, and for a lot of people, this was something they could do. And so we had a lot of good people come in and help clean photos and organize them, and then you know, set up for reunification and returning those photos and visiting with the people. It's just been amazing.
Now, when you say you recovered photos, would it be an individual, you know, one laying in the yard, or sometimes did you get photo albums, or, you know, just a variety of what you actually picked up?
A lot of things, and I will tell you, our friends in Willard, Missouri recovered an awful lot of photographs there out of farm fields, whole photo albums. But there were also many individual,
just single pictures.
Single pictures still complete, you know, some of them torn, some of them not, but to see whole photo albums completely intact return was incredible. But we did receive photographs and documented photographs from across Missouri, even as far away as St. Genevieve.
So all the way across the state.
All the way
people
across
bringing
the
Joplin
state.
pictures back.
Yes, and we knew it because they had fallen that evening or the morning of, the next morning.
So you had to spread the word that we're here.
Yeah.
These people will help you supply that.
Yes.
Well, this kind of transitions to, you've had this process, but people have those memories, as you mentioned. What can we do to protect what we have now? People don't think about disasters. We hear about disaster preparedness, but you have an upcoming program called Save Your Photos Day. So let's talk a little bit about that, and we'll share that information.
That's coming up this month on September 27th. It's a Saturday from 9 to 4, and people can actually register online, or we also have a number you can register at. But at this event, Joplin was chosen as one of the launching sites for Save Your Photos Day. And this is something that is put on by Save Your Photos Alliance, and this allows volunteers to bring people in and allow them an opportunity to save things that they may not have access to at home. For instance, we can scan several photos and documents just in a single hour. I don't know, tons just going through.
Hundreds.
On a broader spectrum.
So if somebody wants to preserve that classic family picture, but they don't have the scanner at home, this is an opportunity
Right.
for them to have that done.
Right. Anything, personal documents. I was thinking of your wedding certificates and your birth certificates and things. Having a digital copy of all of those things, and this event is not just for scanning that in, but people will also get to learn about different aspects of disaster preparedness and different things out there that will put that stuff in mind. We don't want to dwell on the fact that we've had this disaster and we're still recovering. We want to celebrate the fact that look how far Joplin has come and look what we can do in the future and to help others in the future.
Right.
There's going to be lots of activities for adults and kids. You can come in and make your own scrapbook page. Michael's is donating a lot of supplies for that. There'll be a kids area where kids can come in and play while their parents move around. You can come in and have a new family portrait taken free of cost, and Walgreens will print that for you at no charge.
And is this open to the community? How do people
This is open to the community. Joplin's the center of this, but also we're all a community. We've all been impacted some point or another by a tornado or just from Joplin itself. And this is for our community here, and we want our residents here to take advantage of this. This is a month that we talk about protection, prevention, and all those things. And the big word for this event is prevention. These things can be we can prevent the loss of them in the future. And what we want to do is just give you a foot up to be able to do that. And we want our community, citizens to come in with their families, family units to come in, have their photo taken when they come in as a family. We'll take their prized, wonderful pictures, and we'll take very good care of them. We'll scan them at 300 DPI, and while they're waiting for that to be done, they can take advantage of all the activities. Pizza Hut will be there. There'll be food there, and we've got some insurance agents and folks there from the banks that will allow you the opportunity to visit with them on what protective services they have to be able to protect things. How do I archive things for the future, and how do I protect that archival safeguard, that storage device? And so those folks will be there. We have the state archivist from the state of Missouri. Yes, will be there. She'll be providing classes at 10 and at 2 o'clock. I highly suggest people come to those. You'll learn an awful lot of things about the things in your home and that are important to you.
And so many people have, great grandma's candy bowl or things like that. Those are part of their family memories. What do you do with things like that?
Yeah, and we learned from Joplin in returning photographs just how emotional it is when you lose them. And we want to celebrate with people now that you don't have to worry about crying till when you lose them, because you're not going to lose them if you'll take advantage of this. Just come, be a part of the event. We'll take care of you. We'll take good care of your photos and documents while you're there. And that way you can take care of it for the future, for your children, for your grandchildren, for those in your family that you want to make sure those are preserved for.
And a lot of people take digital pictures today. They maybe don't even print their pictures out. They keep them on their camera or put it on their computer. Will you have tips on what do you do if you have that,
Yes.
that little card that comes out of your camera, and what do you do with it afterwards?
Yes.
Absolutely, and we have somebody there that will actually talk to people about thumb drives and how to protect them, how to use them, proper storage, that kind of thing as well. And I know in practicing with our new equipment that was donated by Kodak Alaris, we got some wonderful new equipment.
Fantastic.
And some of our volunteers, including myself, had brought in boxes of photos.
Just loose pictures to practice?
So that we could train. And I've noticed I have, a box full of, my older children, and then my youngest one, all of her stuff is digital.
Right.
It's all on the computer. So this is, we're targeting things that were before. What year did we say?
Well, I think we were looking at anything before 1980 especially, but the main thing is you bring in all those cherished memories, whether they're black and white or color, it really doesn't matter. They're important to us, and we know they're important to you, and we just want to see that your family's taken care of in the future, and the things that were important in your life, they are important to us, and we want to make sure that they're preserved. We've got a great opportunity, and I want to make sure that we mention this as well while we're here, because this is our chance to be able to say it. There's a grand prize for those that register that day, whether they register online or they register by phone. There's a grand prize that day, which is worth about $1,500, and this is free scanning services for a family of all of their family memories. Wow. So we will meet with that family. Their name will be called after the event. We'll publicize that name with their permission, and we will get with them and we'll walk through their history through their photographs and documents and give them an archive on a device that they can take and store as they wish. But it'll be a personal thing for a family, and worth about $1,500.
A lot of services, a lot of
yes.
You mentioned the equipment, new equipment, so you've had supporters from corporations such as Kodak to help you do this.
Exactly. We have partnered with Save Your Photos Alliance and with a company called Easy Photo Scan, who have some of the latest technology in scanning documents and photos.
Yes.
And we've kept up a pretty good relationship with them, and they saw where they could help, and they just said, hey, we want to do this. And so just last month we held a press conference, and we were presented with about $5,500 worth of equipment that we can now use for this event, for other events, and it was all set up to where we could even pack it up and take it on site somewhere else if the need arrives.
Services for
it is on location services, and this is a big event to get us started so that people understand what it's all about, be able to see it. We'll hold smaller ones in the future. It won't be quite as large, but we want to be able to help as many families this time as we can, because we're not going to have this many of those scanners in one location at one time.
You've got the equipment waiting for the people.
Yeah, we're going to have ours that's there, but there'll be other machines as well. So we'll be able to do several hundred documents every hour.
Now, we've mentioned the time, but we haven't told people where and how do they need to sign up for a certain type of days. Let's talk kind of the nuts and bolts of the day. What do they need to do?
Okay. The event will be held at Joplin Family Worship Center. They're on East 7th Street. They have been wonderful at letting us use their facilities. I don't think we've asked a question that they've said no to. They have been just remarkable, and they were key after the tornado as well, with several truckloads of donations and such. And they have been very inviting, and we have different locations outside, and then of course inside.
With all the different activities you'll have going on, right?
So. It'll be held from 9 to 4. You can come and go, absolutely, but you'll want to come and sign up for those workshops as well. And it's not going to be a big deal to hang out, because there's going to be so many things to do.
So if there's a workshop at 10 and you show up at 9, there's still things you can be doing
Still
beforehand.
Absolutely,
yes, things you can do.
Now, you mentioned registration. Is that needed if they really want to have a specific time, or how?
We won't be turning people away at all. We want as many people to come as possible, absolutely. The thing about registering is it gives us an idea of how many people are coming at a certain time, just so we can service as many people as possible. And people can register on our website at nationaldisasterphotorescue.org. They can also call our office at the First Baptist Church in Carthage, and that number is 417-358-8161. And I believe it'll be on there for you.
There it is.
Absolutely.
You're open
Very good.
weekdays, Monday through 8 to 5.
And you can register through there as well, and that'll all be online for all of us to see when people are coming. It's also a good idea for the family photographs, because we're going to be taking free family portraits. So if you register, we know that's just going to go a little bit smoother. Right. But no, we will absolutely not turn anybody away. We want people just to see us out there and say, hey, I think I'll go check this out. Come on in, 9 to 4.
For people of all ages, families, obviously,
absolutely,
as well as the old and the young.
Yes, and we have plenty of room. So the facility's very large, and even in inclement weather, it's not a problem. Come on in. We've got plenty of room for you, and we will make you comfortable and make you one of our guests that day.
Well, the question is, you're providing these services. Do you have a lot of volunteers working with you behind the scenes to do the scanning, to put this together? Tell me about that aspect, that not only inviting the community in, but somebody has to help do this work.
Well, we do have a lot of exciting volunteers from different agencies throughout the community, local volunteers both in Joplin, Carthage, and Webb City, other places as well. We're so excited with the number that we have. We can always use a few more, just as folks to help with hospitality, to greet people with a smile. So if they're interested in that, they can go to our website as well.
They can find out about that.
Right. There's a registration on there to be a volunteer that day. But we can easily serve 500 families that day, and we hope to exceed that. So
absolutely,
we'd love to have more than that, and we'll have the volunteers there to do that, and we'll have the equipment there to do that. We've got food for you, special prizes, things for the children, everything.
So you can find all these details out through your website, the schedule of events.
Absolutely. You can see everything that will be going on, and watch our Facebook page as well, because we will constantly be updating things on there as they come in. Some of our special guests and surprises you'll get to see on our Facebook page as those come in as well.
Door prizes too.
Door prizes for people. And this is being held in Joplin, but it's for people throughout the region. Our broadcast signal is seen throughout the region. So somebody, lives in Mount Vernon, or they live across the state line in Kansas, they're still welcome to come.
Please come. Tornadoes are indiscriminate. Disasters are indiscriminate, whether they're man-made or they're natural. And if someone suffers from a fire, you can't convince them that that's any less or any more important, but any less important than a tornado. And we want you to take advantage of this. You're our neighbor, you're our community, and we want you there.
Well, over the years that you've been working with the program, Thad, I know you've seen a lot of development and growth in the program. What stands out most in your mind? When you first started, with this idea, we can help people, to where you're at today, what stands out in your mind?
I think what stands out is that sometimes we listen to the news and we get caught up in where we think things are. But when you're hit with an actual life-changing moment, you realize that we do live in a wonderful country. We do live in a wonderful community, and we're grateful. I'm grateful that I live where I live, and that I have the opportunity to serve this community in this way. And that's what struck me the most, is the fact that people really do pull together when there's something difficult. And I think that God blesses that. And He has blessed this, and He will continue to do so, and we just want to help as many people as we can.
Rachel, you've seen the program help a lot of people already. What stands out in your mind as far as the people you've been able to help?
I think that is my favorite part, is getting to connect with people. When we've gone on other sites, just being able to visit with people and talk to them just on a personal level has been really great. But I'm also very excited about the future of NDPR as well, because we will soon be able to certify and train people from our websites at areas all over the country, so that they can do what we have done, and we can lend support to them as well, because we don't bring their photos here, from a different site. We want to be able to help them where they're at, and we will have training videos that people will be able to watch and be certified in specific areas of the organizing, the cleaning, the reunification, all of that. So I'm very excited to how this organization will be reaching out all over the country.
So what started here in the Midwest and the Joplin region could help somebody in Florida if they have a hurricane, for instance.
It will. It's us helping them help themselves. That's what it's about.
Spreading together.
Yes.
Well, as we wrap up, in case someone tuned in late, we want to reinforce when the event is. You have the Save Your Photos Day and the time and the basic information. In case they tuned in, we're talking about an opportunity for the community to get involved.
Absolutely. Everybody come out September 27th.
Which is a Saturday.
Is a Saturday. Full day of activities as far as the area, but this is actually a come and go thing, so just come on by anytime between those from 9 to 4. It'll be at the Joplin Family Worship Center there on East 7th Street. And we will have plenty of activities for kids and adults alike. Come have your free portrait taken. Come help archive your important documents and photos. Let us take care of you and love on you, and let us just help you out with protecting your items for the future.
Right. And that if somebody who's tuned in and they said, you know, maybe I have some pictures I never have found, they can still get that help as well.
It is still available. You can go to our website at National Disaster Photo Rescue, look for the lost photos of Joplin Project. They're listed in boxes. Go and look at each box, take your time. They are still available, and we are still here to help you.
And they will be at the event. The
Yes.
binders of lost photos will be
Yes.
set up at Save Your Photos Day. So people can also come in and take a look through there and
That's
see if
correct.
they recognize photos.
So it could be a pickup day as well.
Absolutely.
Tying it together.
Absolutely.
And imagine when people pick pictures up, it's obviously a very emotional time. It's not like checking out a book at the library and saying, here you go. Your volunteers probably spend some time visiting with the people as they do that.
They really do, and they have also gone through some grief counseling training. And you know, the important thing is you don't know exactly how people feel, and we can't pretend to, but we have learned what not to say. You know, people don't want to hear those same cliches, you know. And one of my favorite times was visiting with a mom who had lost her son, and her son happened to be the same age as my son. So sitting down there and visiting with her, it's different from just, you know, a marketing standpoint or just a public service. It's really connecting with those people. So they get very special treatment when they come in to get a photo. Absolutely. You know, this is something that we truly believe in. We feel like this is part of who they are. These photos are part of who they are. And we want to be very careful with that.
It's their life that you're giving back to
It
them through
is,
those pictures.
and we see our families in their pictures, and so that's what makes them special.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you for coming to the program today and sharing information with our audience.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us this week on Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on the station. We'll see you then.